Imagine someone gave you two buttons. The first one instantly makes you feel comfortable. The second one slowly builds the life you've always wanted, but only if you keep pressing it every day. Most people believe they'd choose the second button, but if we're honest, our brains quietly reach for the first one. That's why procrastination isn't just a bad habit. It's one of the oldest survival mechanisms your brain has. And understanding that changes everything. End on Wells. Think about the last time you promised yourself you'd start something important. Maybe it was studying for an exam, going to the gym, launching a business, learning a new skill. You sat down, opened your laptop, and within minutes you were checking one notification, then another. A 5-minute break turned into 30. One YouTube video became 5. Suddenly, the day was gone. The strange part is that you knew exactly what you should be doing. So why didn't you do it? Most people answer that question with one word: laziness. But what if laziness isn't the real problem? What if your brain is simply doing what it was designed to do? Your brain has one primary responsibility: not to make you successful, not to make you productive. Its first priority is to keep you safe. And from your brain's perspective, uncertainty often feels like danger. Whenever you face a task that is difficult, unfamiliar, or carries the possibility of failure, your brain notices something important. This could be uncomfortable. Instead of encouraging you to begin, it searches for something easier, something familiar, something rewarding. That's why checking your phone feels effortless. Scrolling social media gives your brain a quick reward. Watching another video feels easier than writing the first paragraph of an assignment. Your brain isn't asking, "What's best for my future?" It's asking, "What's easiest right now?" And that's a huge difference. Imagine standing at the bottom of a mountain. Looking at the summit feels overwhelming. Your brain doesn't see hundreds of small steps. It sees one enormous climb. The bigger the challenge appears, the stronger your urge to avoid it. Now imagine someone tells you, "Just walk to that first tree." Suddenly, the journey feels possible. The mountain hasn't changed. Only your perception of it has. That's exactly how procrastination works. We don't avoid work because we're incapable. We avoid work because our minds exaggerate how difficult starting will be. Researchers studying habits and behavior have repeatedly found that getting started is often the biggest barrier. Once people begin a task, it usually feels less difficult than they expected. Starting changes your emotional state. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates motivation. Not the other way around. That's one of the biggest misconceptions about productivity. People wait until they feel motivated. But motivation is often the result of action, not the requirement for it. Think about the last time you didn't feel like exercising. You almost skipped it. But after 10 minutes, you felt completely different. Nothing around you changed. Your brain changed. Because taking action gave it new information. You survived. The task wasn't as painful as expected. The next time, starting becomes a little easier. So how do you use this to your advantage? First, stop asking yourself to finish the task. Ask yourself to start it. Not for an hour, not even for 30 minutes, just for 2. Open the document. Write 1 sentence. Read 1 page. Do 1 push-up. Small beginnings reduce resistance. Second, make the first step impossible to avoid. Lay your workout clothes out the night before. Keep your book on your desk instead of inside a drawer. Turn off unnecessary notifications before you begin working. The easier you make the first action, the less your brain has to negotiate with itself. And finally, stop judging yourself every time you procrastinate. Guilt doesn't build discipline. Understanding does. The moment you realize your brain isn't trying to ruin your future, but trying to protect you from discomfort, you stop fighting yourself. Instead, you start designing an environment where taking action becomes the easier choice. Here's the truth most people never hear. Successful people aren't those who never feel resistance. They feel it too. The difference is that they've learned not to trust every emotion their brain sends them. They know discomfort isn't always a warning. Sometimes, it's simply the price of growth. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I'll start tomorrow," pause for a moment. Ask yourself one question. Am I avoiding this because it's impossible? or because it's uncomfortable? That single question might change more than your schedule. It might change the direction of your life. Because every meaningful achievement begins the same way, not with perfect motivation, not with endless confidence, but with one small decision to start before you feel ready.